They say it's not what happens to you, but how you recover from it that matters. And no one knows that more than Hollywood's A-list. And here to talk about the best celebrity comeback stories is DailyMail.com's Charlie Lanks. So Charlie, with celebrities we know, we set them up, we watch them fall, and sometimes, just sometimes, they come back stronger. So we're going to start with Rob Lowe. He was notorious. He was a bad boy in his 20s, struggling with drugs and alcohol. He had problems, and then he had that infamous sex scandal tape. Yet he came back in a really big way. What happened? You
know, he really did. As you said, he kind of hit that party scene in a major way. He battled issues with drugs and alcohol, and then he had this sex tape scandal. He had sex with 2 women. One of them turned out to be 16. He says that he thought that she was 21 at the time. His mother actually sued. It was all settled, and Rob did community service. And then he kind of faded from the spotlight a little bit. However, he was then asked to do SNL in the 90s, and that really helped him to kind of come back into the spotlight. After that, we had The West Wing, and from there, his career really took off. And once again, he was back soaring high in the spotlight.
Yeah, I gotta say, I can't even remember him having these struggles. He's just been doing so well for so long now. What is it that really helped him through those darkest days?
You know, I think it's his wife. They've been married for over 25 years. She has been a really great support system in his life, and the 2 of them are going really strong. Unlike a lot of other Hollywood couples, you know, they haven't had any kind of awkward fallings out or anything like that. So it's really nice to see that he has someone to lean on.
All right, well, one A-lister whose struggles I do remember is Winona Ryder. She was arrested for shoplifting in 2001, and she had some pretty damaging headlines as well. And today, she's still one of our most acclaimed actresses. What happened with her?
You know, she was really huge in the 80s. Who doesn't remember Winona Ryder? Right, exactly, Beetlejuice. That's what I was going to say. She was huge, and then she kind of fell from grace a little bit. As you said, she was arrested for shoplifting, and it really did shock the world. People were horrified to see that someone who seemingly came from a life of privilege, you know, she was a wealthy movie star, would be caught shoplifting from a store. And she did, once again, she was someone who kind of fell from grace. People really loved bashing her. And then finally, she managed to turn herself around. She did a couple more movies, and then she was in Stranger Things, which, hello, everyone loves. So yeah, I think it's safe to say she's back on top.
Who does Winona Ryder credit with helping her through all of those rough patches?
She's always been very complimentary about the way that her parents helped her through those tough times. They were always there to support her, and they kind of brought her back to reality a bit. She did say this wasn't the scandal of the century, but it did give me time to think and to kind of understand the effects of Hollywood on my mental state, to kind of really regroup and then come back stronger and better than ever.
All right, well, next, speaking of celebrities who had a run-in with the law, let's talk about Robert Downey Jr., arrested several times, struggled with addiction problems. 5 years after vowing to quit drugs, he's now Iron Man. The guy's a monster. How do you turn it all around?
You know, he really has been one of the biggest success stories as far as comebacks are concerned. As you said, he, similar to Rob Lowe, he fell into those party boy ways. He was arrested for drug possession, heroin, cocaine. He was also arrested for possessing a gun. He really did kind of hit that rock bottom. And then finally, he vowed to turn it all around. He dramatically threw all of his drugs into the ocean, vowed never to do them again, entered a 12-step program, and it was all because of his wife, who said she would not marry him unless he walked away from drugs once and for all.
Didn't he fall asleep in his neighbor's kid's bedroom at one point?
He did. He had some really tough times, and this was something that put him in the spotlight in a major way. So people still refer to him now as reformed bad boy Robert Downey Jr. And you know what? I don't know if that's ever going to go away, but from my point of view, he's Iron Man.
Okay, let's talk about Leah Remini. After 9 years on King of Queens, we didn't hear much about her after the show ended back in 2007. Today, she's front and center. She actually just won an Emmy for her series on Scientology. I want to talk about her comeback.
Yeah, so Leah Remini, she became involved in Scientology back when she was 7. Her whole family got involved, and basically when she disappeared from the spotlight, it was all to do with her struggles being involved with that organization. As she documented in her series about it, she really did have a tough time. Tom Cruise was one of her very close friends, and she was terrified that when she walked away once and for all, that she was going to lose all of her support system and all of her inner circle of friends.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Was she ever concerned speaking out about Scientology that might impact her career negatively?
Absolutely. You know, there are still to this day a lot of powerful Hollywood people who are involved in Scientology, and Leah has spoken out to say, I was terrified when I walked away that not only would I lose my inner circle of friends, but that I would lose my standing in Hollywood once and for all. Thankfully, as you said, that hasn't happened, and actually speaking out about Scientology has, if anything, given her career an even bigger boost.
All right, we've been talking all about actors here, but what about singers too? Next on our celebrity comeback list, Demi Lovato. After her fame on the Disney Channel, she disappeared to rehab and has been plagued with an addiction to drugs and alcohol and challenged with an eating disorder as well. What happened to Demi?
So, you know, she really was that kind of classic child star. She was shot to stardom at a very early age. And as a result, she had a lot of body confidence issues. She was spending time in the spotlight. People started to critique how she looked. In addition to that, she also dealt with bullies at school and was involved in a car crash. That's when she was put on some pretty strong painkillers, which she says she then used to numb the pain of the bullies and the kind of critiques that she was getting. She really hit rock bottom just after her 17th birthday when she was on tour, and she actually punched one of her backup dancers. But she kind of said, you know what, that was my turning point. That was when I realized that I really needed help, and I really did find the kind of support that I needed in order to move on and kind of come back once again to rebrand myself and kind of give my career the boost it needed.
And how is Demi Lovato dealing with her eating disorder now?
You know, she says she takes it one step at a time. She's not going to rush, through anything, but she's also just embracing herself as a kind of natural, curvy woman. So it's really nice to see that she's kind of turned it around and she's feeling a lot more confident.
Yeah, and I think she looks great too. You know who's always great? Charlie Langston.